Now, the last time we saw Mike Lawrance, he was in the demolition stage of his new reno project on a 115-year-old home. He's back for a check-in, and so much has been done already. I'm so impressed. Mike, how you doing? What have you been able to get done since the demo?
Hi, Tracy. It's been a very busy project since we last saw each other. Currently, we are 100% complete on the interior demolition. We've removed all the finishes throughout, as you can see, down to the double wide brick. And we've begun constructing the floor platforms, which I'm standing on, and above me. As you can see, we're actually using clear span joists. So we're sistering the existing 2x10s with 2x12 joists to create that open floor plan with no additional structural requirements, which is fantastic because we don't have to put in a lot of steel beams on this one.
Okay, that sounds so good for you and the homeowners. I love that news. So how long did the interior demolition take, Mike?
Well, the interesting thing about interior demolition is that it never fails to impress people on how quickly that moves. So we had this thing completely stripped to this state within about 3 weeks. Now, I'll tell you, it is always faster to take these things apart than to put them back together.
Okay, now in the meantime, I've got some notes that you've been able to get some good stuff done in this time, even in these sub-zero temps. Like, how are you managing with this weather?
Well, it can be tough at times, but listen, the guys aren't made of sugar, and as far as the site goes, we have had some absolute cold snaps over the last couple of months. And I know the guys are wearing their long underwear on those days, but I got to admit, it's a balmy 72 degrees in my office, and that's where I've been spending time coordinating the back end of this project. That's where ordering the millwork and the windows, the doors, the finishes, the plumbing, all of the little bits and pieces that we need to complete this project on time, that's what I've been focused on to keep this project on track.
Okay, well, you did not make yourself very popular there talking about your warm and cushy office, okay, Mike? So maybe you keep that info to yourself if the team is listening. I want to talk about underpinning. So you have to do an underpin in this home. That's something a lot of people don't understand. Can you explain what that process is like?
Oh, absolutely. So I will say that underpinning is very popular in the city of Toronto, and one of the reasons for that is a lot of homeowners can't increase the footprint or the size or the exterior walls of their home or the elevation, usually due to zoning restrictions, and that's the case here. So the only other alternative is to go down to create that living space. So pre-existing to us starting, the basement here had a 6-foot elevation. And then it had all these old rusty rad pipes below that. So there were sections that you had less than 5-foot clearance. It was kind of a dungeon. So not usable at all. So we are going to be creating an 8-foot clear living space in the lower level and going down about 2.5 feet to create the floor assembly and complete the underpinning. Now, I will say that we could do an entire episode on underpinning, so I'll give you the Coles notes. Process of underpinning involves removing the earth from under the existing foundation and pouring concrete to extend that existing foundation to create the height in that lower level. Now, the trick about this is doing it in sections to maintain the structural integrity of the existing foundation and make sure the house is supported throughout that process. The depth and the soil conditions that are present are all things that are weighed by the engineer to determine that underpinning process. There is always going to be some inherent risks with underpinning. So it is imperative that whoever you have doing that work for you is licensed and is well experienced in it, and that the process taking place has been approved and reviewed by an engineer.
Okay, all I'm hearing is dollar signs when you talk about that, 'cause that sounds very tedious, but very worth it if you're looking for more house. So this is my last question for you. Are you on schedule, my friend? Is everything going according to plan, even in a pandemic? How's it going?
I can't believe you even have to ask me that question, Tracy. Of course we're on track. We're actually ahead of schedule.
Whoa. It's like I don't even know this guy. Of course he's on track. Mike always gets it done on schedule. Mike, thank you so much for that. This is so interesting. I love the information we get from these renos, and very much looking forward to the next update, aren't you?